Okay, hello, Neysan. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Michael? How you doing?
No complaints. Doing well. So, tell
Great.
people about the plot of your movie Guidance.
Okay. Well, I mean, the basic premise is what if we had, what if we all had a lie detector within us,
Hmm.
right? Um, and so what would happen, really? So we tried to take a very simple story of two lovers who are probably, I would say, at the infancy of their relationship, and we throw them in a very extraordinary situation, uh, and we create a contained drama out of that. Uh, that's the core of it, really. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about like what's going on in there too, because that's the entertainment of the movie, that's the plot. But maybe like get a little subtextual for me. What were you trying to say about love and technology in this movie?
Well, the way we end the movie is indicative of what we're trying to say in the movie, which is it ends really with a question, but it's not the type of question where it's kind of irritates some films I may watch. I love them, but you get to the end and it kind of a little bit too open, right? And
Hmm.
they go, okay, now what am I supposed? I don't mind. I don't mind films that are intellectual. I love them. In fact, I think this film is more intellectual than anything else. But I think films should leave you with a lot of questions. Especially this film was trying to do that, but at the same time satisfy you on a basic level in terms of what the kind of the story was happening. So we don't completely jip the audience. So
Hmm.
um, in terms of how we ended the question as to really I hope the audience thinks for themselves, well, what would I have done in this situation? So the movie ends with a resolution of sorts, I feel, but then literally in the last minute or two, a brand new scenario shows up where, but under the same circumstances, but a brand new scenario. And you realize, wait a second, I may have thought or decided one way as to how do you weigh up lies, truth, forgiveness, and love? How do you weigh that up in one situation may not be exactly the same as you weighed up in another situation. So that calls for wisdom and mistakes and learning, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is that we need to figure it out, and that
Hmm.
there's no one straight answer. I have polled people at the end of it, whether it be regular lay people or priests or rabbis or mullahs. I've asked them, from a philosophical, moral, ethical point of view, philosophers, university professors, teachers, and it's really interesting. It's a 50-50 split as to where do you draw the line as to what is, in terms of how you weigh up lies and truth, and how you use it in relationships, whether it be small ones, personal ones, between your parents, between your siblings, or the romantic relationship, or societal or political, whatever it may be. I know it's a roundabout answer, and I probably didn't quite, you know, get
We'll
to the
get a
heart
little
of what you were
taste. Get a
looking
little
for.
taste. Nothing
Yeah,
direct, but
yeah,
we'll get a
but
little
it's
taste.
a yeah. It's a
Okay.
puzzle piece. The film's a
Yeah.
puzzle piece and it requires some patience. And once you get through it, I think hopefully all those things will be answered, and then new questions are formed for people to debate, really.
Okay. I accept it. So I thought the sets were very nice in this movie. So tell me about scouting those locations.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were. I feel it's an indie film, and so we're very lucky. I felt like it was destined to happen. I really believe, like literally I believe in the mysticism of filmmaking, or any kind of journey you want to take.
Mm.
If you put your heart and authenticity behind it, there are forces at work. I feel like and so I don't know what they are, how they, but they were at work, and we ended up with some amazing locations. Some of them just fell in our laps at the last minute. We could have had a very different movie if those kind of magical things didn't happen to us. So, but they were all actually shot, all in the Beijing area or just outside Beijing,
Mm.
and there were all locations. There was no sets that we created. So the kind of the office environment was downtown Beijing, and the country house was just 45 minutes north of the city. So it was a quite a again, we were very fortunate to find that. But that was a beautiful house. I think that's probably what you're referring to. And yeah,
I remember there was a scene where they leave the house and there's just these big walls too.
that's the same house. It's the
Okay,
same
so it's the
place.
same house. Okay, same
Yeah,
house.
it's all the same thing. I mean, when we saw that square box, and we thought we just got we got so excited. We said we have to get this place, because just in terms of thinking about imagery and the things I wanted to do with the story and with my DP, he himself, like all these ideas popped in our head immediately. Both of us, we just looked at it and said, "This is amazing." Square box, a relationship, and we immediately thought of going in circles, because it was a big part. That was a very important scene where they're going in circles in a square box that's containing their secrets and containing their lives, and at the same time they're trying to work through it. It was amazing on so many levels, that particular entrance way, really. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so tell people about your lead actors in this movie.
Yeah, so we have Sun Jia, who plays Han Miao. She's from mainland China. Incredible actress, very dedicated. We spent, months and months on a daily basis, just going through a character, figuring it out, and really trying to nail it, because she's the anchor to the whole thing. Really, I mean, she's in almost every scene. And then we have Harry Song, who's Australian Chinese. That's the male lead actor who plays her counterpart, her love interest in the film. Again, all three of them incredibly dedicated. Really worked hard to really figure out what our vision was. And then Francesco Chen plays Sujie, our tech entrepreneur, kind of the tech leader of the world, and it's kind of in the film. And he's actually Chinese Italian.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we had an interesting, Francesco. We had an interesting mix of of cast there, and that was a very wonderful, magical find to get them through casting calls, really, which was
okay.
Yeah. Sun Jia actually had played some years back in a Zhang Yimou film with Christian Bale. She had somewhat not a major role, but not a minor role either, and she's unrecognizable. If you go search her there, you'll see you won't even recognize her. It's fascinating. It's really the transformation.
What was it? Flowers of War or something? I don't remember.
That's right.
I did see it though. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
James the Man.
That's right.
I got to interview him 4 years ago. It was fun.
For which
He's a real film? For Shadow.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah.
I remember him saying "chin chin." When it was over.
Yeah.
Cool guy. So we're talking about Chinese actors and Chinese directors and everything. Would you make a movie with Hollywood actors in the lead?
Will I? Oh,
would you?
Oh, would I? Sure. Who wouldn't?
Right. Well, we're just talking.
I mean,
I don't
no,
know.
I absolutely. I think it'll be an interesting, exciting opportunity. Yeah. Definitely, it'll be very interesting.
Are you going to shift gears to that? Are you making that a focus, or you're cool working with Chinese actors?
I think it's kind of shifting that way potentially for the near term.
Okay.
Just simply because what I'm working on right now is actually a 8 episodic series that's based on the same universe as the film. So we get to explore a lot more stories, and we actually get, with hopefully a bigger budget, get to really get into the world. So the movie takes place in the countryside. The series takes place in the city. And so we open a window to the world, and we really see what's going on, and how people are reacting to the introduction of this new radical technology and also this application. And we, as each episode goes by, we learn a little bit more about Lotus Corp. Who are they? Where are they? Where they come from? And I think in episode 7, we jump forward 70 years, where we see Lotus Corp doesn't exist anymore. No one's heard of them. So what happened there? And then we jump back to. So it'll be an interesting thing. We follow a family five and a detective who's investigating murder that kind of launches everything. And so it's gritty, it's fast paced, it's exciting, it's entertaining, but at the same time, I think we'll leave with people with a lot of interesting thoughts and ideas for themselves as to, wait a second, if we had access to this, like, I don't think we're far off. I did a lot of research in this area, and I feel we're not that far off from this, actually, this idea of having technology tell us if someone is everything about you, just by looking at you, whether it be through glasses or in our tech, it's nanotechnology, right? So this raises fundamental questions that I think great science fiction, I hope this is the case in this, but artists can raise these points and these questions a little ahead of time, and get people talking. I think everything's interconnected, and these things are going to happen. So I think art and film play a huge role in that cultural discourse.
Absolutely. So I noticed there were 3 credited writers for this movie. So who was responsible for what?
Well, it was a very collaborative effort. I mean, in terms of actually sitting there and actually, typing things on a daily basis, that was myself. But Anders Fransen is out of Australia. This is his first feature. We've actually written a few other things together that hopefully in the future we'll be able to get made. But he was a big part from the beginning. I went with the story and the idea to him, and then we worked on a daily basis, hammering things down. And Daniel Wang, or Wang Peiyou, was our Chinese counterpart, which helped us navigate, because the film is in Chinese, because I'm writing concurrently in Chinese and in English and Chinese. So, that was a big part of it. Yeah.
Damn, man. Cool. Okay. So you've made short films before this, but this is your first feature. So what was the biggest challenge coming into the project?
Compared to the shorts, you mean?
Yeah. What did the short films not prepare you for?
I would say, what is actually, it's the one thing that's both was a challenge, but also was exhilarating at the same time, was the screenwriting aspect of it. Short films and feature, and it was the death of me, but also the death of us. But it was also the most exhilarating part. So it's the part that I actually absolutely really love the most. I tell people sometimes that I consider myself first a storyteller, then a filmmaker, storyteller, writer, filmmaker, director, in that order. And I really enjoy the imagination part of it when it comes to story creation and world building. So that was a daunting task, incredibly challenging, but incredibly rewarding, I guess. It makes sense, if something is challenging and you get through it, I guess you're rewarded more for it in a way. So yeah. But in terms of actual shooting, not a massive difference. I thought there would be a lot more, on the first few days, there would be a lot more anxiety, but the anxiety wasn't coming from the shooting. It was the fact that, when you're going an indie project, as it can be, you may not know if next week you can continue, if you have enough funds. I mean, in fact, people didn't know that, we were, just really going by the seat of our pants. And so I love the fact that there was a lot of trust in us, and we managed to, get it done. So just the stat in itself was a big challenge. Yeah.
Cool. And did any of these shorts explore the same themes that we see in Guidance?
Again, that's interesting question. Only recently, sometimes it takes others to look at your kind of work, and I don't have like a huge body, but I have a body of work, and they look at it and go, you know what, this is, someone once told me, you look at someone's work, and more often than not, you'll see the same story, but in many different ways, and I think that the terms of, in terms of the themes of exploring who we are, and also not to be too overly mystical here, but in terms of duality, the duality of our nature, what I would consider a higher and lower nature, and that and that kind of that tension that sometimes we might feel very, very strongly. That is something I really, it seems like it runs throughout the shorts, as well as features. In fact, the other stuff, other features I've written, not yet shot, obviously, but I noticed, yeah, it seems to be similar. It seems to be a similar theme, but all approached in different, slightly different ways. Sometimes not so slightly, but yeah.
Very interesting. So how long was the shoot for Guidance, and what did you spend the most amount of time working on?
So the thing we spent most on with the actors, I mean, different phases, but that was the kind of the rehearsal phase was absolutely critical. Again, when funds are limited, you know, when we're about to go on these locations, we don't have forever. We had very limited time, so we had to nail everything down, you know, as much as we could beforehand. And then when we go in there, we can just execute. But also at the same time, the challenge is you want people when they're in the space to be able to get into some, I mean, again, it's the beauty of indie filmmaking. You have a lot more freedom of movement and experimentation. So I wanted to have that as well. So we managed to actually switch things up very quickly. But if we hadn't been prepared as well with the actors, then we couldn't switch things up and go, you know what, maybe this should actually take place over there, which is a very different looking place. And they would have to, you know, blocking would be very different and everything would be quite different. So, but we were able to do it, you know, switch on a dime if we felt this might be better in collaboration with the actors. So that took a long time. I would say post happened during pandemic. So just naturally, not that I wanted to, that took a long time because things were shut down. Our post house was not open. The VFX company was not open for a long time. So, you know, we just sat there, which is great for me. So I just was able to edit, re-edit, you know, re-edit like 100 million times and fine tune. So that was almost a blessing in disguise.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Neysan, thank you very much for your time. I got to wrap it up. I really enjoyed Guidance, and I hope people check it out. Good luck with everything in the future.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks. Appreciate it.